All right, well, we're just going to go ahead and start and take a look at things this evening. Good evening. This is meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live with your live update of the forecast here over the next few days. And what we're seeing right now is we've got some rain moving up still with this big system that continues to move through the Central Plains. So a lot of rain, a few thunderstorms in through here that continue to move northward and will likely affect the southeastern parts of Minnesota here tonight. So you areas that currently aren't seeing any rain, you will eventually, looks like you'll see the rain come back in here down to the southeast. So areas like La Crosse and Rochester, not through completely with the rain just yet. And then also we've got a little bit swirling still in the upper northeastern parts of Minnesota as well. And it looks like those are kind of dying off, really not much there. And then we have this area in northwestern parts of North Dakota. That will just kind of slowly meander eastward through the overnight hours. And really, again, not a whole lot expected there. However, the only interesting thing there would be once these storms do move through, there might be a little bit of a boundary, just a wind shift that's caused from these showers. That might be enough to set off an isolated storm or two later in the day on Thursday. But otherwise, really, our Thursday's looking spectacular, and as well as most of Friday. So if we take a look at things and how they're shaping up right now. So there's our little bit of showers that are on the northwestern parts of North Dakota. Here's our rain and maybe some thunderstorms down in the southeast. You could see the area to the north in the northeastern parts in the Arrowhead region. Those areas are going to move off overnight. This is around midnight here. You can still see just, some showers and maybe some storms down in the southeast still, but overall, most of the area is cleared out. And again, just, there's that little area that just continues to trek eastward, maybe just a very, very light shower in the early morning hours around 6 or 7 o'clock. And by this time, most of the rain down in the southeast has now quit. Once we get more into the afternoon around 3 or 4, and then 5 and 6, there's some of those storms that develop late in the day, 7 o'clock. So maybe an isolated storm up in northeastern parts of North Dakota later Thursday. But overall, really, just a really, really nice day in store. And then here's, as we get into Friday, here's Friday morning. Not a whole lot going on. We do have a weak disturbance that moves in maybe early and brings some early showers into the northwestern parts of the state. But it's not until later in the afternoon to evening hours that we're expected an area of storms to eventually develop out into eastern Montana, as well as maybe northeastern parts of Wyoming. And that area will kind of just move eastward throughout the nighttime hours Friday night. And here by 7 o'clock, according to this model, this is all the further this model goes, although this is the very latest run of this particular model. This is a lot of times why I wait until the evening hours to do some of the forecasts, just because we get some of those models that come in late, and so we just, I take a look at them and I try to put out the very latest possible in what we're seeing with the models. Now, again, so here, this is Friday, right around 7 o'clock. And there's a different perspective, a different model. And you can see those storms in Western Dakotas kind of make it into central part of North Dakota, maybe as far down as northeastern parts of South Dakota as well, around the midnight time frame. Now, these areas are expected to move kind of east, northeast throughout the nighttime hours. And we kind of, fortunately, we got to flip back and forth to various models just to see how exactly these things go. But trying to get you the latest. But then as we get into Saturday morning, you can see some of those showers and storms into northern parts of Minnesota. And they kind of continue north and eastward throughout the morning. I think some of this that's way down in southeastern parts of Minnesota in the early morning hours of Saturday, that's probably carrying a bit too far south. There's a fair amount of warm air down there, so I don't think, I think some of that's going to be capped so that those storms really won't be able to develop maybe quite that far south. But anyway, everything's supposed to be moving off to the east by noon. And then we get another round that develops later in the day out in, once again, kind of in that eastern Montana into western South Dakota. And here we are right around 6 or 7 p.m. Saturday night, and those storms move to the east and north throughout the night. Now, I do think these storms here on the overnight hours, that Saturday, might have a little bit better chance of being severe. And I guess I'll show you why here. Again, just a model being real slow, a computer being real slow. But that there's an upgrade coming, thankfully, with that we're going to be dealing with here, hopefully by the weekend. But wow, this is really taking its time. Really taking its time. Come on, man. So here we are Saturday evening, and there's our little trough, just our little wave that is just enough to create a little bit of disturbance, a little bit of spin in our upper levels of our atmosphere. And that continues to move to the north and east. Now, one thing to note on Saturday is just we're going to have some higher dew points working their way into eastern parts of South Dakota, into southwestern Minnesota. So the CAPE values will be sort of high in through here. So CAPE, convective available potential energy. So the amount of gunpowder we're going to use, right? Well, the problem is most of the storms really fire up and get going further off to the west, and then they carry off to the northeast, maybe lose a little bit of its punch once it's finally gets into these higher CAPE values. Well, CAPE's also dependent on temperature. So of course, as you get into the overnight hours, you lose some of those CAPE values because the temperatures cool off. So everything's really not working real well in concert. Either you have the higher temperatures and higher dew points further to the east and the better winds further to the west. It's really when the two come together that you really get the stronger, more severe storms. But with that said, it's possible still that through the overnight hours, Saturday night, maybe some areas, but kind of in through here, that the south central, southeastern parts of North Dakota, northeastern South Dakota could see some severe storms overnight Saturday night into early Sunday morning. Now here you see that wave continue to move off to the northeast, so you can expect areas across northern Minnesota to have some showers and maybe some storms early on Sunday, as well as maybe in through parts of South Dakota or North Dakota as well. It's not really until Sunday that more of these ingredients come together. Here you've got, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Oy, 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 oy. right? Ay, ay, ay. So you've got these stronger winds that finally begin to nose their way into Minnesota by this point. So we're talking, again, Sunday evening, right around 7 p.m. So we're just going to kind of focus in on that time frame. So the stronger winds moving in there. We also have some higher dew points as well. And I can't wait until this new computer comes because this is just deathly slow. It's just hard to work with. Here you can see all the blues with the higher dew points. We're talking 50s and 60-degree dew points. So we've got those winds nosing in through here. We've got the higher dew points, higher CAPE values. So I would expect that there's areas in through Minnesota could spark off some thunderstorms later in the day on Sunday, maybe down into southeastern parts of Minnesota as well. The only little caveat, the only little thing that we're going to be watching is the capping. So there's going to be a fair amount of warm air that's in place in through here. Now we're looking at about 10,000 feet in the air, and what happens is when you get that much warm air in place, you think of these bubbles that are bubbling up kind of like in a pot of boiling water, and now you've put a lid on it, and instead of everything boiling over, you've put this lid on, so now you're not allowing those storms to really bubble up completely. Well, if this is strong enough, if there's enough warm air in there, it's going to hamper some of these storms from forming, particularly down in the far southeastern parts of Minnesota. Now, some of the other models don't have it quite that strong, and if that's the case, if these storms do get going during the day on Saturday, they could be quite strong to severe with large hail and strong winds, and even the possibility of an isolated tornado as well. So Sunday is going to be really the main day to look at as far as the possibility of severe weather throughout the weekend. And now, once we get into Monday, is what I've been saying the last few days. Monday's sort of our day where models really they just don't know what to do with Monday. They continue to be all over the place. They not real sure where the precipit's going to be or how quickly this low pressure is going to move off. The new GFS model, or the GFS model from this morning that showed up, was really just took a left turn on that. And if that were to come to fruition, we'd have multiple days of severe weather Monday and Tuesday across the Dakotas and Minnesota. But I think that's a little bit out into left field. So I think this particular model is probably closer to what we're looking at, to where, again, Monday, kind of some storms developing mainly along that same line from, Grand Marais to Duluth, down to the Twin Cities, down to Mankato, and then just sort of almost staying in place over each other. So I guess the other thing we might have to think about Sunday night into Monday would be the possibility of flooding in some areas. Because kind of Sunday, Monday look to be about the same. So here we are Monday night, and you can see once again where their storms want to develop. Then we get into Tuesday, once again, kind of in the same area. That low, that frontal boundary that just sits in through here just doesn't move for days. It's really not until you get into Wednesday until everything really starts to move off more so that all you're left with is maybe some showers and storms down in the southeastern parts of Minnesota. And then the big high pressure moves in. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as the weather goes. That's the long version. Hello, Manx. It is cold here. My heater is on. Yes, I'm sure it is. I don't mind this weather though. I guess I don't mind it. It's a cool, comfortable temperature out there. But yeah, it's going to warm up for you the next few days here. It's going to be, Alexander, we're going to be talking, 70s and maybe some 80s even. So that's a good thing, right? Well, I would imagine you'd take that. Where we're talking, mid 70s Friday, probably 80 Saturday, 80 Sunday, humidity, So it's coming. It'll be a nice weekend. It'll be a warm and humid weekend, especially in the eastern Dakotas and in through Minnesota. And then down into southwestern parts of South Dakota, actually, they're looking like they're going to be in the 90s for portions of the weekend. We'll take a look at that here. High pressure, yay. Dry us out, right? Yeah, it hasn't been, thankfully, most of the areas other than portions of Minnesota today were fairly dry, but Minnesota kind of got the rain, kind of took the brunt of it. So here's your Thursday forecast as far as the high temperatures go. And we're looking in the 70s across most of the Dakotas, maybe 80s down in the southwest. And I think it looks like Minnesota's still a little bit under the influence of that low that kind of ran over them today. So highs in the 60s, but still not bad. You know, winds will be light. And then more so once you get into Friday is really when the warm up happens. And there you can see the low to mid 90s down in the southwest, 70s and 80s elsewhere. So Friday we're really looking nice. Saturday is going to look pretty similar actually to our Friday. Yeah, I will take mid 70s. That's for sure. Dry weather, right? Just something as long as it's, you know, mid 70s, humidity up, and I guess if it rains at night, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with raining at night, just as long as our days are okay. That's the only thing. You might start off with some rain on Saturday morning, and then again on Sunday morning. But then looks like the afternoons should clear out to where we'll have some pretty warm days during the day this weekend. Take a look at the temperatures here. Depends where in South Dakota. Yeah, it can be. If you're moving to the Black Hills, that's a whole different animal down there. I mean, you just saw the 90s that I kind of popped up there on Friday. There's Friday, and that happens a fair amount, where they'll warm up down there west of the Missouri River, Pier, over to Rapid City and Spearfish, and you know, all those areas. They warm up, you know, pretty well through the summertime, and then you've kind of got that influence off the Black Hills. There's been times, I mean, I've been out there where just these storms come over the hill, and you've got, you know, some large hail dropping over you on Rapid City. But if we're talking, depends where you're going now. If you're talking eastern parts of the state, yeah, they're a little more similar to where you're at in Alexandria. So. There's our Saturday forecast. There's our highs for Saturday, 80s and 90s in through South Dakota, even 80s pushing up into just kind of, you know, from Fargo down to Minneapolis. So just kind of straddling that I-94 corridor. And then everybody south of there looks like they're going to be in the 80s and 90s, but pretty warm day in store for Saturday. And between that and we're going to be having some higher dew points as well. If those storms can roll through quick enough on Saturday, we've got to be watching out for the possibility of some severe storms with large hail and damaging winds as those move through. So. Yep, it can be hot. South Dakota, especially Rapid City, I would love to move there. Pierre's nice. Been down to Pierre a time or two, though. That's not a bad area. We got the Lake Oahe in through there, so Pierre's a nice area, and Rapid City as well. Sioux Falls is nice. Sioux Falls has done a good job as far as their city and just kind of doing some updating, and I don't know, it was just kind of a neat town or city or whatever you want to call it. No races this weekend, Manx? So this is basically what kind of what we're looking at here. So we've got some storms rolling through Friday night, maybe an isolated severe out in the Western Dakotas, and then more storms Saturday night. Expected once again to kind of develop out and through here and move northeastward. And then those again could be severe with, they have a little better chance of being severe with hail and strong winds. I don't think there's really much of a tornado threat there, but then it's more kind of in through this region on Saturday. That's got the possibility of some severe weather with, again, kind of the hail and the strong winds. Maybe there's an outside chance of a tornado. Maybe Sunday's your better chance for that. And then it's just a matter of how far southeast those storms could make it, just because there's plenty of warm air down here. That's going to be in place on Sunday. So that might inhibit some of those storms from moving to the southeast. Oh, nice. Well, good for him. That's pretty neat. None this weekend. Well, I would suppose, I don't know, Memorial Weekend, do you really want to be racing? I don't know, maybe you do. I know the racers love to race. I have no idea if our little bullpen up here in Grand Forks has got anything going on, to tell you the truth. Great circle around my house. Great circle? Kind of a great circle. A circle of clouds? There you go. That's, yep. We're going to be doing, that's, we've got so many graduations around here this weekend. It's crazy. So we're going to be doing that. Going to be barbecuing. Unfortunately, wife's got to work at her part-time job for this weekend. So she'll be off doing that, and I'll be tinkering with probably setting up my new computer and getting everything set there. So if anybody's got any questions on the weather through the Dakotas and Minnesota this weekend, please go ahead and ask. Let me know where you're looking at, where you're at, what time frame you're looking for. Maybe give me an idea of what you're doing, just so I have an idea of maybe what you're looking for. But basically, this is the time to ask. It kind of went through the forecast already, and just it's going to be a bit of a stormy weekend throughout our area, throughout the Dakotas and Minnesota. Several rounds of storms moving through. So really nothing. I mean, we're not looking at any big, derecho type of thing where we're just looking at widespread damage. But if you're out there, if you're tenting, or even just if you're out in a camper, you might be something you're concerned about. Just with the hail and if you have strong enough winds that roll through the area, or maybe, like I said, maybe you got a graduation. Should you have a tent? Should you not? Oh, I drew the circle right over you. I drew the circle right over you. It's like, what is it? Circle me, Bert, right? Circle me, Bert. Everybody wants to be circled. You've hereby been circled. You have hereby been circled. But yeah, we're, well, you can see that moisture still streaming up through the south. Actually I think they had was it a tornado warning through Chicago earlier tonight? but still plenty of moisture with this system out there. As it just, continues to just move to the north and east. So still looking at the possibility of rain down here, down in the southeast tonight, as this just doesn't quite want to give up. There's a few showers left over on the far northeastern parts of the state as well. And you can see that here, but not much at all, not much left. It's mostly, just like I said, mostly these areas down to the south, not expected to be severe. All the severe stuff is going to be, well south of you. These little yellow marks are just special weather statements. They're not actual severe thunderstorm warnings, but they're just kind of like, hey, you might get a little light hail out of there. But again, those aren't expected to move into southeastern parts of Minnesota at all. But thankfully, we're looking at, really you can't, overall the weekend's looking nice. Thankfully we got rid of those cold temperatures from last weekend. And we're going to be, looking at highs in the 80s and 90s. And yeah, here's Sunday. Sunday's a little bit cooler. And again, just depends a little bit on, just depends a little bit on the model. I'll back this up one frame. Again, just bear with me here. This computer's slow, but I'm getting an upgrade. Oh, I can't wait. Sunday's a little bit cooler for portions in the north already, where we're going to be seeing maybe highs more so in the 60s. Still not, and I think maybe more so it's going to be upper 60s. Well, maybe we'll take a look at a different model here, but still, fairly warm through South Dakota, most of Minnesota on Sunday. We've, other than, I don't know, I keep repeating, we've got so many graduations this weekend. We're not even going to make half of them. I'd like to be out camping, I think at some point this summer. Not a huge, we've got this big, pink tent. It's a 10-person tent. And, we call it the Pink Palace. So while it was red, it looked red on Amazon. But once we got it out in the sun, and once we got it up for the first time and it was sitting out in the sun, it was pink. So we were with a group of friends, with our baby group that we call them. That's a whole nother story, but a group of us with a bunch of kids, and it was pink in the sun. So we've got a big pink palace. I haven't had it out for a couple of years. I think at some point this summer we're going to definitely get that out. Especially with the gas prices as high as they are, I don't know where I'm going to want to go. So I think the best thing is to just stick around and go do a little camping this year. Thanks, Manx. You too. Enjoy your barbecues. So here's our Sunday, and this is a different model. Basically, like I said, that last one kind of started to go out for lunch around that Sunday, Monday, more so Monday time frame. So there you can see temperatures a little bit better in the upper 60s to 70s across the Dakotas, and then low 80s into Minnesota, with that boundary kind of sitting in through here. So this is kind of our area to watch for Sunday as far as the storms go. And the Storms Prediction Center, it's basically where they painted it for us as well. When it came to the storms on that day. And there you can see where, in the yellow, kind of where they're thinking the possibility, where we're looking at, the Pink Palace, where they're looking at the possibility of some severe storms on Saturday. And of course, some of that could adjust with the latest models and so forth. And then here's Saturday's look, where they're thinking where the best chance for severe weather is. And again, it's kind of based on where these storms develop and move to the north and east. Our best cape is kind of down in through here. So I suppose they're looking at this southern edge, kind of tapping into some of those higher cape values as it moves to the northeast. And then probably on the very start of this, as often is the case, once these storms first develop, is also when they become sort of the the most severe. They have the most punch, the most to work with. They're tapping into the energy that hasn't been used yet. So there's kind of where the Storms Prediction Center is thinking for Saturday into Saturday night. Cheers. So that's about all I've got for you. If nobody else has got questions. I think I'm going to bug off. I might be on here again tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. But I think we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll wait until after the weekend and once I get all my fancy new toys up. But I think for now, I'm just going to kind of dink around here. If anybody's got any questions, let me know. Please ask. Please type it in on the little chat area. I'd be happy to answer them. I always say, yep, cheers, man. Cheers, Banks. My family always says, why, and I've had people ask me in the past, why does it seem like I'm more accurate than the people that they watch on the news or wherever? And basically what I tell them is, I can give you a generalized forecast. I can tell you, here's where their showers are going to be. Here's how things are going to move. But they're probably not giving you quite exactly what you're looking for. They're not, it's not quite what you want. You're kind of getting, you're getting the dumbed down version. I guess I don't know how else to say it. But basically when people ask me, hey, I'm heading here to there, I've got this going on. What's the weather going to be like between this time and that time? And I can narrow it down for you. I can take a look. I can say, yeah, well, here's what it's going to look like. And that's why, because you're giving me a time and a place. And once I look at that, that really helps me narrow things down. And it just helps things become more accurate at that point. So that's why. Plus, I'm just a good meteorologist. Let's just face it. I'm just that good. I just am. All right, I'm trying to figure out why this is not working the way it should. Oh, I don't know. Do I even care anymore because of this thing? Because I'm not going to be using this after a while. I probably should. Let's see here. I don't know what's going on. So what's everybody else doing out there? I think I've got a few viewers out there. If you're not going to ask any questions, just where are you from? Where you living? Where you work? What are you doing this weekend? Doing anything fun? Going camping? Going to the lake? Is there any concerts out there? Should I know of any concerts? If you're barbecuing, what do you like to barbecue? We can just kind of have a chat as I'm trying to figure out what in the world is going on with this thing. Just doesn't make any sense. It's unlocked. It's unlocked. I can click on it. But it doesn't want to move. It doesn't want to move. I can't move it. I can do this. Oh, there it is. That's why. That's why there. Then I can move it up. Cut that off a little bit more. That's what I like it. So that's about it. That's all I've got. I'm just going to play around in here for a little bit. Take a look at the, see what the latest models have got for me. Pivotal weather, pivotalweather.com. So, not a lot of questions, not any questions. I just had one person on there. That's not good. Thought I'd get a little more than that. Thought I'd get a little more. I was hoping for a little more. Here's all nervous. Here's all nervous. More people, I wouldn't have any time. Nobody's going camping this weekend? Going to a cabin? All right, y'all.